What is happening, everyone? It is time for the final part of our mock draft Monday initial mock. Let's get into it. So when looking at the Seattle Seahawks, I think a lot of what they do in the draft depends on what happens with Clowney's situation. If he returns to the Seahawks, I obviously don't think they go for the edge position. If he doesn't, I think edge becomes an instant need and a spot where they're going to have to draft in the first round. I'm actually going to have them going right now with the interior offensive linemen. I think that they really need to put this position that kind of has been good over the years but not great. I think that they need to really try to boost this offensive line, something that they haven't done in years past. And I really like Solomon Kinley here. I think he's a very good prospect and who could really fit in this Seattle Seahawks system. Now, for the Baltimore Ravens, they were a team that really didn't have that edge rusher that really stood out to me. They had a lot of guys who were able to get sacks because they were one of the most they utilized the blitzing most in the NFL. So I think that they have to get their premier edge rusher so that they can have a playmaker when they're only rushing 4 instead of having to always worry about rushing 5 or 6 to get that pressure they need. Chasen here, I'm a little lower on him than most other people. I've seen him go in the teens. However, I feel like this is a good spot for him. He's very quick, and I think that he could develop in this Baltimore Ravens defense and scheme very well. I'm sticking with the edge position here for the Titans. This is a team where they could go many different routes. I think edge is a very important need. I was really tempted to possibly give him one of the running backs to pair with Derrick Henry. Henry's a really big bruising back, but he's not really much of a pass catcher. And obviously, being that he's a bruising back, I felt that he could have some injury concerns potentially over the next few years. But I'm going to give him an edge position here and go with Lewis. He's a very talented rusher out of Alabama, and I think that he has a very high ceiling and can develop into a very good playmaker. Now for the Packers, I really think they need to get a wide receiver. They do Davante Adams. He's probably a top 3 to 5 wide receiver overall, in my opinion, in the league. But they don't have a secondary option. A lot of the other guys struggled. I mean, Alan Lazard kind of played well here and there. But I think they need to get a speedster. Jalen Reagor is a guy that I love. He's very quick. He could be a deep threat. And with Aaron Rodgers' arm, I think that he could be very good in this offense. So I'm going to give Reagor here. San Francisco is a team that is very interesting. I think they have a lot of free agents that they potentially bring back. They didn't have many holes last year. The intriguing part about them is, outside of this first round pick, they don't have another pick until the 5th round. So I highly think that they'll be a team to trade back. But being that this mock draft, the first one I'm doing, doesn't include that, I think that they need to go cornerback. Sherman's getting a bit older. I think that he could be very productive for another year or two. Some of the other guys, they kind of struggled here and there. I like Jeff Gladney out of TCU. I think that this could be a little bit of a reach pick. I see him more of a day 2 prospect, but he has the ceiling to really develop into a very good cornerback. The reason I'm picking him here for them is, like I said, they don't have another draft pick until the 5th round. Until the 5th round. So it's going to be very important to get a very talented player in this spot if they do not trade back. So I'm going to give them Gladney, and I think that he can develop. Now the Chiefs, there are many different defensive spots I feel that I could have put here. I also thought about giving them a running back, but I don't know if they want to use draft capital here on that running back. I'm going to give them a linebacker. Linebackers have not been great for this team. They have some guys who are going to be free agents. And I really like Kenneth Murray here out of Oklahoma. He was kind of a do-it-all player there for the Sooners defense. So I think that he'll be very good rounding out this first-round mock draft. Again, just want to say thank you for joining us. Here's a list of some of the guys that I've picked in these spots. It is still very early. I'll be doing a lot of work researching with the combine. I'll be researching up until the draft day, and I'll be trying to figure out who may trade up, who may trade down. So keep tuning in, because just because the mock draft is done doesn't mean that mock draft Monday is done. Thank you again, and I'll see you guys next week.